Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This really means a lot to both of us. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Hall. I'm the writer and director. Thank you. I'm the writer and director of both the films you're going to see here tonight.
My name is Rachel Hall. I am Ryan's younger sister, and I served as producer on Cityscape. I also was a co-writer of Cityscape, and some other roles I played on these two films were supervising the script and also helping with a little bit of the casting. Because I'm Ryan's sister, I had the unique privilege of being part of this journey literally from day one. I got to see everything that happened inside our house, inside our garage, loading those cars up to go shoot. It's really amazing to see how far these films have come. What's also amazing to me is to look out and see so many of you here, smiling back at me, supporting me. If you guys take nothing else away from tonight, I want you to remember this. God is faithful. He has been so incredibly faithful in bringing these two films, Ash and Cityscape, to completion. Tonight is just a celebration of that journey, the journey that A.P.T. Media made with these two films. A.P.T. Media is a student film group that my brother and his friends started a long time ago. We actually have some people and some families here who were part of that original founding of A.P.T. A.P.T. stands for Action Packed Thriller. Again, that's the great title that my brother and his friends created.
Nice, good, Ryan.
A.P.T. Media is dedicated to the artistic and authentic portrayal of story through film. One cool thing both of us have noticed about A.P.T. Media, because it's a student film group, it's given Ryan and me the chance to do a lot of networking around the Twin Cities. Ryan has been able to work with some fellow film students. I've had the privilege of working with so many theater students from a local theater company called CB Productions.
So just to tell you a little bit about A.P.T. Media and about how we got our roots, basically started out as a couple of just homeschool kids from the church we went to, just getting together for a summer every couple of weeks and shooting some short films. It was a really, really great experience. We had a lot of fun doing it, just making these really crazy, violent short films. But we learned a lot through that process, and I wanted to keep doing it, but felt like we could give it a little bit more structure. So this was, again, about 8 years ago. I was still in high school. So I decided to write a script based off of some of our original short films, and that became our first big project, Operation Endgame. I see a few nodding heads for those of you guys who remember that. Well, it was a 30-minute short film we filmed in 3 days, which was a really bad idea. But we learned a lot. It was super crazy, super fun, didn't make a whole lot of sense, but we grew a lot from that. And as I was finishing high school, I realized I wanted to do that again, but on a kind of bigger scale. So I had been working on a 60-page script called To Be a Man, which is about a man who goes out to take revenge after someone hurts a loved one. And we decided to make that into a film, and that became my senior year project. Rachel and I brought Rachel in at that point, and we spent summer 2014 shooting it. Again, didn't really know what we were doing because I didn't have any film school at that point. But that also was a great summer, just working on that and learning more about story, and then I got to edit that as my freshman video lab. So fast forward after that, we wanted to do it again, but I had a super ambitious script called Cityscape that was about the same length, but it called for these just massive set pieces, filming in downtown Minneapolis, getting large crews of extras, and we had no production crew and zero budget, and we were film students. Or I was a film student, you were a student, and we had to figure it out from there. So what we decided to do instead was shoot a concept trailer, so down the road we could pitch this as a real script and as a real movie. So we got some of our friends together from To Be a Man and from CB Productions to shoot this concept trailer for Cityscape, just little snippets from the script I had written, little vignettes. And we really enjoyed that, but we also realized we enjoyed the cast we had put together for that. So this was back in 2016, I believe. And so the next summer, we decided to keep that momentum going with the team we had put together for Cityscape, but we just shortened it down to a 20-page short film, which is what we're going to show you tonight. So we both really enjoy this story. We've put a lot of work into it, and we still think there's something more to come out of Cityscape, but we are also very proud of what we have to show you tonight. So how is this going to work? I'm actually going to play a different film for you to start, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. We'll watch that together. Then Rachel's going to come up and talk a little bit more about Cityscape. So we'll do that tonight. But before we do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the first film you're going to see, Ash. Ash was my senior film for the University of Northwestern. This was for a class, 4 credit. And it was a script I was writing during the middle of the process with Cityscape. Follow my notes here, thank you. So I actually wrote a lot of Ash before I even started on Cityscape. And I knew I only wanted 3 characters for this film. Our main character and then 2 different characters that speak into her life, one in a positive, uplifting way and another one that kind of detracts her character and tears her down. So I knew that's what I wanted, and one thing I was thinking about was how impactful it is to speak truth into someone's life, how impactful it can be to build someone up, and then how, in contrast to that, if you can really tear someone down with words as well. And I knew I wanted to use lots of different visual motifs and artsy stuff in it. And so we filmed it over 6 days last year during the snowstorm, the great snowstorm of 2018. We had lots of production challenges as a result of that, but I'm really excited about the project we put together. But the story is about a dancer, and that was the reason I picked that was I wanted that kind of visual art form to kind of help accompany the story. And so one thing I did was I just passed on the script outline to our composer and to our choreographer, and that was basically it. So actually, I still have not met the choreographer. Is she here? No. Okay. Yeah, so I still have not met the choreographer for the dance you'll see in this film. I do know Josh very well. Josh wrote the music, and he did a great job. And then I just did lots of research on dance to figure out like what kind of genre I wanted, how I wanted to light it. I looked at a lot of classical art paintings to figure out the lighting and some of the more nuances of it. And I think we had a great time, and I'm really happy with the result of it. So give us a second to cue it up, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Ash.
It was over 3 years ago that Ryan first handed me his film script and asked me to read it. I took it from him like a good sister and read it because that's what you do when your brother's a filmmaker. I looked at the title, Cityscape. Well, this ought to be interesting. I opened up the script. Inside, I found a city, darkened by corruption and desperate for freedom. Ryan's script was a page-turner. I couldn't put the thing down. I think I read it cover to cover in one sitting. Within the city, I met a brave cast of characters. Adam, Emma, Derek, Stone, each one facing a hard choice. The choice of how to handle power. Now, some of the characters seized power for their own control. Other characters totally abandoned power for their own safety, but there was one character who handled power a different way, a third way. This character used power to bring freedom. As I read Cityscape, I couldn't help but notice its similarities to the biblical story of Exodus, where God gave Moses the power to lead his people out of Egypt into freedom. Power, freedom, both themes rose to the surface in Ryan's script. I remember sitting on the couch, holding the script, thinking, wow, this is pretty good. We've got something here. There's a strong message within this script. While I was thinking that thought, another thought crossed my mind, which was, boy, can we actually pull this off? I mean, it was a huge project. The script featured an incredibly large cast. We would need to film in several different locations. Some of them were very difficult. We would need to film in a metropolitan area and in a river. Yes, I said in a river. I was in high school, Ryan was in college, so I'm sitting here thinking, can we actually pull this off? Can we tell the story of Cityscape through film? Well, obviously, the answer is yes, because I'm standing here talking to you about it. But Ryan and I could not have done this alone. God has been so faithful, carrying this project from start to finish. We had over 40 friends volunteer their time to help us bring this film to life. Many of them are here with us tonight. With the support of these fellow actors and filmmakers, A.P.T. Media produced Cityscape in the summer of 2017. The film you're going to be watching tonight, I already mentioned this, but it features the work of over 40 different artists. Each one brought something unique to the table, whether they were there for just one day or all the days of production. We filmed at 12 different locations around the Twin Cities on 14 separate days of production. We recorded over 10 hours of footage, and yes, I think Ryan and I watched through it all. This 10 hours of footage was somehow narrowed down to less than 30 minutes. Tonight is the culmination of over 3 years of hard work, prayer, and perseverance. Before we play the film, I want to give you 3 brief highlights from Cityscape's journey, from script to screen. These 3 memories illustrate the process from pre-production to post-production. I hope that as you listen, you'll gain a deeper appreciation, not just for this film, but for the process of filmmaking in general. It was the spring. One moment. Is it still on?
Keep going.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. You guys are so supportive. It was the spring of 2017. Ryan and I sat hunched in front of a computer screen, staring at the Cityscape script. Both of us were thinking the exact same thing. It's still too long. Earlier that year, we had made the difficult decision to go ahead and film Cityscape that summer. The decision was difficult because, as Ryan has already mentioned, Cityscape was originally intended to be a feature-length film. Now, those of you in the filmmaking world know this. A feature film is a totally different ballgame than a short film. Because Cityscape was written as a feature film, the original draft was much longer than the version you'll see today. And back in February of 2017, Ryan and I faced the facts. We did not have what it took to film a feature that summer. But we didn't want to let Cityscape die either. And so we prayed. And God surprised us with a third alternative. There was a third way. Some of you know where I'm going with this. Instead of filming Cityscape as a feature, and instead of just giving up, we could produce Cityscape as a short film. A short film would tell the story that Ryan and I were both so passionate about without being quite as time-consuming as a feature film. So there we were, May 2017, hunched in front of this computer screen, trying to cut the script down. We deleted sentences, we shortened sequences, and we even cut scenes altogether. I remember the day that we finally got it down to 25 pages. That was a huge mile marker for us. We were thrilled. We had our short film script. We were ready to begin production. Now, fast forward several weeks. It was a hot July day, and Ryan and I were again huddled together. This time we were huddled in a parking lot, actually the parking lot of Church of the Open Door. Both of us were bent over that hard copy of that short film script we had worked so hard on. And surrounding us were about 15 other young people, both actors and crew. It was the 7th day of production on Cityscape, and it was a big day. We were going to film our first large group scene. And boy, was it hot. Like, as the day went on, the temperature reached over 90 degrees. Some of you are starting to get flashbacks right now. Our actors were amazing that day, doing the scene over and over and over again in the hot sun. And somehow, our short film was coming to life. Like, I was actually watching it unfold right there before my eyes, right there in the parking lot of Church of the Open Door. Fast forward one more time. Over a year had gone by, and Ryan and I were once again sitting side by side. I guess we kind of did that a lot throughout this process. This time we were shut inside of Ryan's bedroom that doubles as his editing space. Hours of editing had already gone into the Cityscape footage, but tonight we were going to do it. We were going to watch the film all the way through from start to finish. I think I was actually holding my breath. As the film started to play, footage that I had already seen many times before actually sent shivers up my arms. This was kind of good. I think we made something here. The story on screen was powerful and moving. I could hardly believe the project had come this far. When the credits rolled, there was this moment of dead silence. I kind of turned and looked at, he just kind of turned and looked at me. Neither of us said anything for a minute. And finally, I came up with, "That was really good, Ryan." He, of course, just laughed. I think we have a movie. Today marks the culmination of Cityscape's journey, from script to screen. It's come a long way from that first draft of the script that Ryan handed me back in 2016. God has been so faithful to us and to this film project. Tonight, we're here to celebrate the journey. Thank you all for showing up and being part of this celebration. Being able to share this story with you makes every hour of work absolutely worth it. And now, on behalf of A.P.T. Media, Ryan and I are pleased to present to you Cityscape. Wow, you guys, that was fun. We only have a little bit left here tonight, but I can think of no better way to use the remaining time to thank some very special people who helped make what you just saw possible. Collaboration is the cornerstone of student film, and we had over 40 different people helping us bring these two projects to life. At this time, Ryan and I want to recognize 3 groups of you who really helped contribute to ASH and to Cityscape. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to introduce each group and spend some time talking about their role during production. I might hand the microphone to Ryan so he can say a few words. Afterwards, I'm going to tell that group of people when to stand up so we can recognize you with a round of applause. First off, I want to highlight our crew. If I was going to choose one word to describe the crew, it would be diligent. This group of people works tirelessly behind the camera, and they may never show their face on screen. Now, here's a little test to see if you were on crew. If I say the words, "Record please," does your heart rate go up? You probably served on crew. Is holding a boom pole part of your arm workout? You probably served on crew. Are you aware of Ryan's obsession with fog machines? Yes, you definitely served on crew. The job of the crew is to make sure that the actors look good and sound good. And in ASH and Cityscape, they did a great job. I want to quickly highlight some specific accomplishments of the crew. Both films featured the work of some excellent cinematographers. We had Micah Hayworth, who was the director of photography for ASH. And for Cityscape, we had a few different cinematographers, including Tyler Patton and Brian DeLisi. Unfortunately, they were unable to be with us here tonight, but what you see on the screen would be impossible if not for the cinematographers. And I'm going to let Ryan talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I should add, too, a lot of our crew is actually shooting a feature film down in Owatonna right now. That's why they can't be here with us tonight. But yeah, cinematography is one of my favorite aspects of film. I think that's why I enjoy doing this so much, is figuring out how we can tell this story visually through cameras and lenses and lights. And we obviously have very different cinematography in both ASH and Cityscape, and what I really appreciated was both teams of people I worked with brought something different that helped complement the story. This was also Micah's senior film, so he got to help me with the lighting design of it, and he did a great job. And we got to overcome some fun challenges, like figuring out how we're going to light the whole stage. But we just embraced that we'll use these as practical lights and make that part of the background of the dance. And then, obviously, Cityscape is very run and gun, rough. It's kind of an homage to where we've come from. But Tyler and Brian were able to add some stuff to that too, and so we were able to do it without a large crew and without a lot of lights that would have slowed us down. But both really helped complement the story, so I'm very grateful for our cinematographers.
In addition to cinematography and lighting, we also had a great team helping us with audio. If you've ever worked on audio before, you are aware that most of your time on set is spent listening through a set of headphones. My sister Amy did audio a lot for us. She knows what I'm talking about. The other thing the audio people always have to be careful of is not getting the boom pole shadow in the shot. Both films featured the work of our talented makeup artists, and both of them are able to be here with us today. ASH featured the work of Meredith Tuve. Now, Meredith designed and implemented all the scar makeup that you saw on her face, on her arms, and absolutely, let's give Meredith a round of applause. and Shayla Olson joined Meredith to do some of those same stars that you saw in Cityscape. Now, I'm not going to begin to count every single person who did Slate, because you guys, pretty much all of you did it. Thank you for doing the Slate. The crew puts in so much work. They load, they unload, they set up, they tear down. Many crew members come early and leave late just to help us with that setup and tear down. And like Brian already said, many of our crew could not be here with us tonight. I know some of you are. And for those of you who are, I have a message for you. So crew, this is for you. You may not have shown your face on camera, but we see you. Thank you for your dedication, and I would like you to stand at this time so we can recognize you. All right, this next group of people are very close to my heart. I want to highlight the actors. We had over 30 different people who showed their face on camera. That's more than Ryan and I have ever worked with before. The best word to describe the actors is dedicated. Whether they had pages of lines or 0 lines, each one worked hard to create a character. Now, the actor's journey is one of discovery. They look in the script and seek to understand their character and their relationships to all the other characters. An unusual challenge in film acting is that the story is often shot out of order. In Ash and Cityscape, our actors did an excellent job with this. Now, sometimes their commitment was just crazy. I have some pretty good examples, so listen up. Several of our actors endured extreme temperatures while we were shooting. And I mean extreme. Like one of our actresses laid face down in a snowbank, take after take after take. That had to be cold. Another actor suffered severe sunburns while shooting for hours in a parking lot. Sorry about that.
You know who you are.
We had 3 actors who literally spent half an hour laying down on their backs in the Mississippi River. Now, if you're wondering about that, it was pretty important, actually. We had a scene going on behind them, so we needed their dead bodies in the shot.
By the way, this is nothing new with A.P.T. Media. Some of you know about this, but with our first film, Endgame, I can see Jordan nodding. He knows where I'm going with this. We had a certain incident with a wood pile down by the river that had a hornet's nest underneath it. That's a great way to start filmmaking. Deal with dozens and dozens of bee stings. But yeah, I mean, as a director, I'm really blessed to work with the cast I have. And with Cityscape, one of the big reasons we had this push was because of our 4 leads and then all the secondary cast and extras we were able to get. That's what made that film pop for me as an editor. And then obviously with Ash, Miranda, Evan, and Lois, sorry, it's been a long day. Miranda, Evan, and Lois all brought unique creativity, and obviously Miranda, very physical performance with the dance. So very, very grateful to our cast. So if we could give them a round of applause.
Last, Ryan and I want to recognize a variety of people who played a support role in these films. We had many individuals who helped us behind the scenes. They did things like communications, scheduling, craft services, and a lot more. I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. Thank you to our location contacts at Church of the Open Door, Trinity Lutheran Church, and the University of Northwestern for allowing us to film in your space.
Yeah, and I especially want to thank University of Northwestern and the communication department. Professor Sorensen is here with us tonight. The reason we're able to do this and not charge a fee or ask for donations is because the communication department is sponsoring us, so we're really grateful to that. And we used all university gear for both of these projects. Cityscape was a passion project, and obviously Ash was curriculum. But really, really grateful that Northwestern had our back. So, thank you.
I want to thank all the parents who offered their time and assistance. Many of them helped with the driving. And I have to give a short shout out to our mom, who did of you who helped us with the concept trailer in 2016. That was just that little bit extra work the summer before we actually produced Cityscape to volunteer your time, your talent, to help us test out the idea. We didn't know what we were doing. So thank you for being a part of that. I also want to mention Pastor Dave Johnson from Church of the Open Door. Pastor Dave's voice played a really big role in the way that Ryan and I wanted to tell the story of Cityscape. His concepts of the third way of Jesus and power in the kingdom of God really influenced the story of Cityscape. Last, I want to thank anyone who prayed for either of these two film projects. Ryan and I are passionate about telling stories in a way that honors God and points other people to Him. We hope the films you saw here tonight did that for you. Most importantly, we want to thank God for His faithfulness in bringing these projects to completion.
And, Okay, to wrap this up, again, big thank you to everyone who contributed to this project. This means a lot to me as a director and as a filmmaker as I'm starting out my professional career. These films and then the projects beforehand have really played a huge role in getting me to where I am today. So thank you guys so much for that. And I want to thank you guys for coming. We live in a media-saturated world, and so your eyeballs and your screen time matters. We want to tell these stories, but we're only able to do that because you guys provide us the platform to do that through here and through coming here, and then again through social media. We did not fundraise for either of these films. It was all out of my pocket. And we don't ask for donations. Oh, we'll take them. But with that said, if you enjoyed this and you want to contribute to what we're doing, the best way you can do that is to help us get the word out on social media. We're going to post Cityscape online starting at the beginning of July. It's going to be available only on our YouTube channel. And we're not exactly sure when we're going to do it with Ash. I was just kind of rethinking that watching it, so it might happen sooner than you think. But regardless, the best way we're going to figure that out, we'll be able to let you guys know about that, is going to be through social media. So, went away. Yeah, so these will be the best ways to follow us. My website is under construction right now, but I'm hoping to get some new stuff up there before the year's out. See here. And I guess in A.P.T. tradition, I usually tease the next project we're doing at our premiere. I did that with GMA, and I talked about Cityscape a little bit. And honestly, I don't have anything set in stone. I think we both really like what we've had going with both of these projects. I think there's more to be had with A.P.T. Media, so there's not necessarily a concept or a script in mind, but we'll be in touch. So we love filmmaking, we're passionate about it. It gives us kind of that kick creatively outside of our day-to-day routine. But again, we only want to do this if we have a platform to share it with people like you. So best thing you can do is follow us on social media, and we'll stay in contact about that. And again, thank you guys for coming. I'd like the cast to hang around a little bit. Let's get everyone who was cast and crew down here for a picture real quick, and then we'll do each film separately. I think that's all I have. You good?
We're good.
We're good. Thank you guys.